And the first one to be had today is going to be on the topic of what is being termed as sports for development. Sports for development. And of course, sports for development is an emerging field that leverages the power of sports to drive social change, promote health and education, and foster community development. In Africa, various organizations and initiatives have been at the forefront of using sports to address pressing societal issues such as youth unemployment, gender inequality, and health disparities. This discussion aims to spotlight the work of these organizations, share best practices, and explore a broader impact of sports on development in the African communities. What a topic to discuss, what a subject to want to have to pay attention to as we look at sports for development. So, on the panel today, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the first panelist, I should say, Prince Osisiadan, the founder and CEO of SUCCA Africa. Give it up for Prince. Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are your panelists for the first roundtable discussion. It's on sports for development. Well, I've been told that I have to take them through the first set, and I'm honored to do so. Gentlemen, welcome, and thank you for your time, and thank you for being here. Let's start the ball rolling, shall we? Where do I start from? Let me start with you, Shogo. I mean, what is your general take of sports for development in the broader sense?
Thank you. My name is Shogo Shodunnke. The brain behind Amateur and Professional African Development Program, where we try to see how we can hasten the transition of grassroots players to become professional within a short time, and how we can strike a balance between the amateurs and the professional, and see how we can raise a lot of breadwinners through football and also sport as well. Started out in 2016, trying to see how we can change narratives in Nigeria, and also how we can connect Africa together, having the same common sense and having the same ideology, to see how we can change the narratives and take our sport to the next level. Now, sport in Africa, what we have a lot of scholars, we have a lot of intellectuals who have done a lot of researches when it comes to sport development, but implementation is always a problem, because some people are looking for money. Hello? Okay. Hello?
Yeah. Otherwise, can you give me the extra mic, please? The extra handheld mic, please. Right.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
That's why we're trying to see, we have a lot of scholars who have done a lot of researches. We have a lot of Africans who have graduated from top universities in the world, who knows our problem, who understands the problem of African sport. But the problem is implementation, because we have different mindsets and different interests. Some are looking for money, not interested in the development of sport in Africa. And that is where we are having a problem. And if you look at our setup, we do a lot of political appointments, relationship appointments, rather than bringing the right guys into the system to help us to see how we can develop sport in Africa. And that is why there are a lot of opportunities. We don't have to come up with a lot of ideas. A lot of things are happening in Europe, in America, that we can bring back here for implementation. And how can we achieve that is through this platform, having collaboration, creating the same ideology and philosophy, having the same mentality, and also having the same common sense to see how we can change the narrative. Now, I want to tell you, we have a lot of professional footballers from West Africa. But the problem, one, is how to leverage on what they have to help other African brothers. Now in Nigeria, at every off-season, and a player who is playing in the EPL, if he's coming back to the society, they are coming back home with minimum of 200 million. Now in my own community, we have one person who is playing professional in the EPL, who is Taiwo Awoniyi, who is playing for Nottingham Forest. Anytime this young man is coming back home, he's bringing minimum of 200 million. Now, if we have 10 of Taiwo Awoniyi in our community, that means every off-season, we'll be having 2 billion. Now, the concept is we came up with this platform. Since we started Hammer Pro in 2016, we had the 9th edition last week. we've been able to raise 165 professional footballers from the grassroots. And also, we prepared them for life after football. I came up with a plan in 2012, play safe, play plan. As you are playing football, you save money. As you are playing sport, you plan as well. And now trying to give them vocational training and also diploma courses because of the nature of our league. Our calendar is not properly structured. And we have, maybe after the season, they resume back after a month. We're trying to see how we can bring in short courses to help them. And also, we've gotten an opportunity, a sport management course in Ghana University. Last year that I was here, I saw a flyer, and we're trying to work with them so that we can have few Nigerians off season. We bring them to Ghana to do short course on sport management.
Brilliant.
I was privileged, AmaPro was selected as one of the best in Africa last season. And there's an organization in Morocco called Tibu Africa. They selected change makers. And I was privileged to be there. I was invited to SUCCA Business School in Rabat, where we were trained on project management and event management. And from there, we've been able to connect to a lot of people and to see how we can sit down, have collaboration, and build the next generation of athletes.
Brilliant. All right, so Prince then, can you please, yes, so that you use the mic. I think that mic, yeah, it's clear and louder. I think everybody can hear when they speak through that. So now, Prince, of course, for you, you are the founder and CEO of SUCCA Africa. What is the project like with SUCCA Africa?
So SUCCA Africa is a managing consulting firm that we consult on sustainability or ESG matters, environment and social and governance, from mining to banking.
Yeah.
But we realized that there's one critical sector that was always left behind in whatever we do. That was sports. And drilling down in sports is broad. What is the passion of Ghana? Football.
Yeah.
So we decided to come out with a project called Green Football, which is in collaboration with Ghana League Clubs Association and Sports 20 in Germany. So the essence of the project is to be able to say that every kick that we see in the game will also translate into an environmental and social change. Like Shogo was saying, to bring people from grassroots, it's all poverty alleviation. But the secondary aspect of it is also to help the clubs to reduce the operational cost and also increase their revenue. So if you look at operational costs, if you take a typical training facility, we are looking at water and energy. That's one key thing they spend their money. Even their logistics, moving from one point to the other in a typical match day. How much can we help them to bring down the cost? There's something that, there's a gold mine the clubs are living with that they don't even see. Waste. If in a typical match they look at the waste generated, we want to be able to let them monetize the waste that is generated in the stadium. Then being able to align the way we play the game, the objectives of the club, to suit corporate Ghana. Because now when you go to corporate organizations for funding, it's difficult to get it.
It's very tough now.
Exactly. So we want to be able to align so that when we go in there, we'll be able to tap in funds for the clubs. Then, when the league was about ending, there was something unique. There's this whole mindset that one way or the other side, there were some things that went untoward in the last games. But we want to use this project to also promote transparency. It's rather unfortunate that our senior Koko Osisiadan has left. But if you ask all our football administrators and to ask them how much people are employed through football, nobody will be able to tell you. How much taxes in terms of their contribution to GDP. So we want to be able to use that to sell that aspect of football. And one key thing my brother is talking about is looking at grassroots. We are launching an app soon, where right now we've been able to identify that there are a lot of young, talented people in the rural areas.
Right.
That they struggle to meet scouts. They are never seen. But what we want to do is that we want to be able to bring an app where you can sit in Wali Wali, Nowalugu, Atebubu, Sunyane, anywhere you find yourself, come out to the video, upload, and scouts will see you. Football administrators will see you and say, oh, really? There's this guy from Ghana, maybe he's viewing you from Belgium, in the Netherlands, anywhere you find ourselves. And the ambassadors for the project We have former German captain Luther Matthias,
Yeah.
who is on board, our own Sami Kufo, who is our national team captain. And the most fantastic aspect is that this is the first project in Africa, and the next COP, this project will be showcased at COP29. And in the last few weeks, I spoke at the G20 meeting showcasing this project.
Brilliant.
So that's basically green football and what we've been doing.
Right. Fantastic. From Prince Osisiadan there. Let me come to Badara Jeng there. I mean, you know, I love the fact that you are a coach of basketball and you're development coordinator for the whole project in Gambia. Now, especially in Africa, we are very much leaning towards football, and it's almost becoming saturated. Other sports need to grow to take a lot of the talents that are there. How are you able to, of course, across Africa, basketball is very popular in some parts, not generally, but how are you able to spread the basketball culture to the up-and-coming generation so that not everybody's focused necessarily on football? The other avenues are also taken care of.
Yeah. Like you said, sir, when it comes to basketball, it's really difficult out there because people are focused more in football. Even in Gambia too, people are focused more in football. So with our whole Project Gambia, we focus more on the grassroots basketball development. So we go all the way to the rural area, like how my brother said, that's where talent is. So we have this camp that we do every year, but we're using the camp to campaign against drugs and illegal migration. Knowing that Gambia is close to the Mediterranean Sea, we have a lot of kids and adults we lost years back using the Mediterranean Sea. So we're using the basketball to campaign against drugs and illegal migration. So doing that, the government says that these guys are doing some camps that will really help us towards development. Now they start helping for the basketball to grow to the next level using that campaign that we're doing. They help us with funds, with publicity and all the things that we need. So doing that, we have more kids coming into our program, and we have partners, because they see that we have partners outside. Like some of our kids now have scholarship playing abroad. Like we have a first Gambian with a scholarship at the Florida State University, who is from our project. And we have another kid too, playing in Ohio State. He's from our project, and he's from the rural area. Like you said, you just don't focus on one place, like football and other sporting avenues. Like basketball is really lagging behind, but things are coming up, you can say, yeah.
Brilliant. But let me stay on you before I go to the rest of the guys, then we wrap up the session there. I mean, when we speak for sports for development, there are some key components that are not necessarily fundamentally sports, but because of the pool that sports has, sports can be used as a tool to train people's mindsets when it comes to equality, when it comes to respect, when it comes to training people to understand what discrimination means. How have you been able to use this project to because like I always say, it begins from the very young age. If you are teaching them how to be good basketball players, you better teach them to be how to be good human beings to begin with. So how are you using that project to impact the next generation?
Yeah. We're really using it in a good way.
Can you please? Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, we're really using it in a good way because we just don't focus on the skills development. We focus on educational aspect, like sensitizing them on the positive impact, like equality. We don't only have men on the academy, we have men and girls too. Boys are there, girls, boys are there too. So we show them that everybody will have equal opportunity whilst playing this basketball. We try and give them the scholarship, make sure that they all have all necessary stuff to go to the next level. Yeah, we just don't show them that it's limited to this or it's limited to that. Everybody have the equal opportunity when it comes to that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, now let me get back to you, Prince. Can you please? Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very much similar to the same question that I've asked him. Then, how are you going to use your project to? Because I've always said it, the world is changing. It's changing fast, and most of the problems that are confronting the world now is the lack of training education from the base. But we've got an opportunity of re-educating the next generation because they are going to be leaders very soon. They are going to be taking over very soon. They are going to be the next big stars. So how do we use these platforms? How do we use this project to inform the social lives, the social thinking of the next generation of superstars?
So what, per this project, what we want to use to do is the fundamental things that affect the people. Climate change issues, floods. So just the recent Green Ghana Day, Green Ghana project in partnership with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources involved the football players. And what we're using them is as ambassadors for the project in each district that they find themselves. So that when they come out, because please don't take me out of context. If Mohammed Kudus is to speak, and even the president of the land is to speak, most people are likely to hear Mohammed Kudus first before the president of the land. That's how sports could drive. So we are trying to use sports to address basic things like flooding when it rains. Now we want to effect behavioral change. How do we do it? We need to use our football, our players, to lead the agenda, walk house to house, door to door. Can you imagine sitting in your house and you have maybe Mohammed Kudus walking to you and say that you can't throw your waste at where you've been putting it, you need to do A, B, C, D. How he can impact on you. Look at even previous players like Charles Taylor, walking to your doorstep and say that, you know what, you can't throw this, when the drainage line in front of your house. Can you be able to clean it? Can you imagine the impact? Even your MC, when he speaks, you can't hear him. But with sports, players, administrators, there are some administrators, they are also so popular that anything they say has so much mileage. So what we are trying to use is to use this project to address fundamental social and environmental problems affecting us. That's all that we are trying to do with green football.
Brilliant. Right, Shogo, again, governments and policymakers do have a huge role to play. But how are we able to bring them around the table? I mean, they are focused on so many things. They are looking at building roads, building hospitals, and sports has almost become a secondary thing. And I've always said, it's almost become another cultural issue where 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, those who were involved in sports were known to be those who were not serious with academia, right? And that perception still lives on. And we are trying so hard to break that perception away. So a lot of the policymakers still maybe then see them like that. But how are we able to get them around the table so that we can use sports to influence policy making in helping sports for development?
Thank you. Life is beyond 90 minutes and also is beyond the court. The concept is this: we use football terms and rules and regulations to structure the financial life of athletes and also to talk to people in society. Now, if I'm having an athlete and I want to tell him about how to achieve his goals, the best way to use is to use football. In all field, we have our jargons. In medicine, they have their jargons. In football, we have it as well. Now, if you want to be a striker, it's difficult because you will be playing against 5 people, and also you have a goalkeeper who has an added advantage to use his hands. Now, the concept is this: you have to work with a team. Football has to do with teamwork. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with commitment. It has to do with perseverance. What we're trying to do, Seyi Olofejana, who was a former Nigerian international, was appointed recently as the chief scout of Chelsea. He was the sporting director of Grasshopper in Sweden. This guy started as an engineer while he was playing football with Accra United. He went to WoW, he went to Norway, from there he went to WoW. Now he's a PhD holder, and also is trying to see how we can bring a lot of people who can be a good ambassador of our football. And in our community, what we did was, gone are the days, most of our players they travel to Holland and Belgium to play because we share the same philosophy and ideology. But do you know what Spanish La Liga did? A few years ago, they came to Nigeria to change our mentality and our philosophy. They started with under 15. Now, they are trying to see how they can bring their philosophy into our system. And that is what we are trying to do locally, because a baby cannot walk without crawling, and life is in stages. And what we're trying to do is to change the narrative from our own community, for politicians and people who are there to key into our dream. When we have common sense, it will be easy for us to achieve greatness. And now we started from my own little community. By God's grace, last week we got a request to bring our project, AmaPro, to Gambia. Yesterday I got a call from France that were bringing AmaPro to Benin. And we are hoping that, we'll do the same thing. Now, it started from Nigeria, from a small community. We're growing from there to Gambia, another part. And for me, as young as I am, because I always believe that success is not a location, it is a mentality. Some people believe until you go to the city before you can make it. But I said, see, I have to build my empire because football and sport is like a passport to the world. And we started it, and the project started growing. I was the least person that was admitted into FIFA University. I had then I had HND, Higher National Diploma. And when I applied, they said, you don't have the requirement. But someone said, see, look at his sport involvement, what he has done in sport. And I was given that privilege to be interviewed, and I was given admission. Now, the mentality changed. Some people believe that, see, I have to travel to Lagos, but I believe that labor to the point of honor for their life sources. When you meet people that will shape your ideas into creativity, it will take you to the next level, and that's what we are trying to do. I have about 6 players who are playing in the Nigerian Professional Football League, who are graduates. Now, one of the best academy in Nigeria, which is Beyond Limit, that wants the Badara Jeng in Italy, the best academic student in that academy is my player. The concept is this: I don't have the resources to break the bank or to start big academy, but I'm starting small so that I can grow big. And the concept is this: we need to have a kind of connection between all of us to see how we can take Africa to the next level. Majority of the players that are doing well in Hero, they are from Africa. But the concept is this: West Africa, we need to do more to see how we can take our players to class so that they will not become burden on us when they stop playing football or stop playing sport.
All right, I've just been alerted that we are running behind time. Then give it up for them. Insightful, very insightful thoughts coming from our panel. But I'll give you your final words and what you want to say about this subject that we've been discussing. Each of you have your turn. So I can start with you, Shogo.
Yeah, for people that are here and people that are watching us outside, and for members of the society who are deprived of opportunity by our political and economic system, I don't want you to be despair. Your deprivation can only be temporary. Don't give up. Don't allow your background to put your back on the ground. Keep laboring. Keep doing it, and you get there. See you at Bonga. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. To you, Prince.
For me, if you're involved in sports, you are somebody that holds a tool for change in society. No matter where you find yourself, whether as a coach, as an administrator, as a player, as an agent, as a cosplayer, anywhere you find yourself. Because if you distinguish yourself so well, any change that we want to drive in this, our communities, you will be the tool, you will hold the tool to move it from point A to point B. And the only thing Africa we need to start dealing with effectively is when we take sports seriously, and it brings so much to us, it will help us in the poverty elevation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Badara, your final words.
Yeah. What I'm going to
Please
say
hold the
is,
mic.
all right, what I'm going to say is, being a young coach or a player, never limit yourself. Because I'm the youngest basketball coach in the Gambia with a FIBA Lansing and an alumni of a EuroLeague Head Coaches Board Academy. Because we don't have enough resources. But I don't limit myself. Like, I'm in Gambia here, we don't have all this course and stuff. I went all the way to the internet making research on how to develop myself and become a FIBA Lansing coach and alumni of the EuroLeague Head Coaches Board Academy. So each and every one of us here, whatever you're doing in life for development, believe in yourself and keep striking, keep going. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the panel. So on the panel, we had Prince Osisiadan, the founder and CEO of SUCCA Africa. Thank you very much. And also Shogo Shodunnke, CEO of PhreeStyle Sports. Badara Jeng, the coach and the basketball development coordinator, Hope Project Gambia. Give it up for them.